Last but not least, Radiohead has a new release called The Bends, which is in stores today. Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead appear at Tower Records tonight for what is about an 11 o'clock start time for an in-store acoustic performance. Both Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood join us next in live performance here on Morning Becomes Eclectic. First off, one from the new release, The Bends, which, as I say, is in stores today. Radiohead next, as Morning Becomes Eclectic. Phil Selway, Colin Greenwood, Ed O'Brien, Jonny Greenwood, and Thom Yorke, collectively known as Radiohead, from the album The Bends, which is in stores today from Capitol Records, High and Dry. I'm Chris Doritas, Morning Becomes Eclectic on KCRW. Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead appear tonight at Tower Sunset for what is an in-store acoustic performance. It starts about 11 o'clock. I couldn't remember the exact time, but I think it's like...
It's actually going to be the whole band.
Is it really
the
whole band?
Yeah, the whole band's here. We're going to do, yeah.
Okay, now, well, see, obviously my information was a little...
Yeah, well, we couldn't decide, and then we decided, no, we'd have to do it, the whole band, really.
I see.
Much more fun that way.
And how come the whole band's not here this morning? They're sleeping in?
They're sleeping, you know. We're the only mugs.
Well, it's good to see you guys, anyhow. And thanks for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Well, it'll be interesting to see then how the band, fares in a store.
In a record shop, yes.
Do you do that very often with the whole band?
Never.
We try not to make a habit of it.
Did it once in Paris and just had all these old people coming in off the streets to complain, which is great.
The album is called The Bends, and when I look at the cover, I almost get them, because just the look of the cover. Is this somebody who is suffering from the bends on the cover?
No, it's a kind of a dummy figure that I took and treated and played around with, did the colours, changed the colours, and so on. It's kind of difficult to explain, really.
Well, with a title like that, it makes me wonder if there was a sort of paralysis that happened in the making of the record, or...
There was.
There was.
There was. It was a difficult record to make for a lot of reasons. Well, one of the reasons, I think, was Creep, obviously, and the endless touring, and the fact that we'd been playing an album that was essentially 3 years old, and everyone was basically writing us off as the band that had done that song, really, and well, a lot of people were. So we had to come back with a whole album that proved that we weren't, and there was just so much pressure on us. That's
a double-edged sword, isn't it? I hear that time and again from a band that comes along and is doing some great work, and then they have one song that maybe a format might latch onto.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll drill that song into a ground.
Exactly.
And it's double-edged sword for the band and for the label. A label is often very scared of a format latching onto what might be a novelty song of sorts.
Exactly. Well, I mean, yeah, it was a novelty song in some ways, but I mean, it's a very good one. No, I think more to the point, it was difficult to know where we stood. I mean, we came into back to America. Where did we land? Seattle. And we played a show in Seattle, and we didn't know whether anybody would still remember who we were. It's that sort of feelings, because if you have a hit with a song like that, it's like, the song is much bigger than the band, and there's still sort of, we're quite paranoid about the way we're going to be taken.
That's very interesting what you just said, that the song was bigger than the band.
Oh yeah, well it was.
Definitely. Easier to market, I think.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm loud, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it gets to a point where when you go to a show, even though you want to sort of leave the last record behind and play all new stuff, you really can't do that, can you? I mean, you could, but you'd almost be...
Well, it's bizarre. There's this MTV audience that goes to see live shows, and they'd come and then they'd see Creep, and then they'd go. And so we'd stop. We'd get people to stop them at the door and say, well, and why did you do this? Do you hate the rest of the band? And they said, well, no, we do this to all bands. We did this to Nirvana. We do this. We just like the video and go and see the song live and then leave.
Wow.
So there's always like 10 people at every show.
The word mindless springs to mind.
That is unbelievable. I didn't realize that was actually happening.
Yeah, it was
bizarre.
Yeah.
So you would say that this is partly due to video, television, music television?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
weird. I mean, it's good in a way, because they'd never go and see a live show normally.
Sure.
So maybe it's a good way in.
but
sing some more music.
we're coming back this time, and in some ways we've made what we think is a brilliant record, but we're kind of ready to start from scratch again, really, because we know that all the rest is can I say bullshit on the radio? Well, I just did.
No expectations, I think.
Well, when you pulled yourself out of this paralysis that you're speaking of, what was it that catapulted you? The creativity, the songs that started coming, that sort of thing?
The songs were being written as we went along. The songs didn't stop coming. The paralysis was really being paranoid about what people would think of us rather than anything else. So the creativity just came from a confidence in the songs again. You know, we basically lost all our confidence by the time we hit the studio the first time, and then the songs kind of came through despite us being so paranoid about it. So you know, the creativity was just from the fact that the songs were good.
Yeah, and then you have to come to a point where you realize that it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It matters what...
Yeah, which is you'd be surprised how difficult that is, really.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Obviously, you pulled it off. So we're going to head into what is an acoustic set. This, I guess, is a song that's from the album. Am I right?
That's right, Chris. I'm going to do a song called Street Spirit.
Street Spirit, fantastic. It's Radiohead's Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood in live performance on KCRW. The new album is called The Bends. It's in stores today. It's Radiohead's Thom Yorke on vocals and guitar, Jonny Greenwood on guitar. That's from the new release, The Bends, which is in stores today on Capitol Records. We heard a live acoustic performance here in the studio. Street Spirit is the name of the song. Fantastic. Really, thanks for doing that. I know. Yes, you were concerned about the high range of it.
Yeah, you know. Well, I think I've just woken up. I had an extremely sugary cup of coffee, and now I'm all right.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking a stab at that one. It really sounds nice over here. You guys all come from Oxford, England, right? And I understand that you went to high school together. Everybody in the band has pretty much known everybody for, 10 years or so?
That's right, Chris. It's like, we're quite a broad age range, however. It's like,
You're the youngest, aren't you, Jonny?
Yeah, I was kind of basically following my elder brother around, begging to let me in the band, since I had short trousers on early. And finally they let me, after playing about 3 or 4 different instruments. They said, learn this instrument, so I went and learned how to play keyboards, and they said, no, we don't like keyboards anymore.
Yeah, actually, no.
And harmonica.
Yeah. That was me, that was my fault. And then he came to rehearsal with guitar, and he could already play better than me, then he had it a week. So we had to let him play it, really.
Oh. So how much older is Colin than you?
Colin's like 2.5 years older than me, and Ed is a year older than Colin, and Phil's 2 years older than Colin.
Actually, we better say hello to them, because they're probably all getting up now. So, hello everyone, get up.
Well, so how did you guys come together then as a band, if you were all various ages? And
It's just we were all at school and just bumped into each other really, and I'd been in this band and it was horrible, and the drummer had a huge ego and used to throw sticks around, so I thought I had to form my own band really.
And so you've been playing as Radiohead for how long?
For 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Well, yeah,
but
probably.
We've been writing and reharsing for about 5 or 6 years.
Did you have names before Radiohead?
Oh, every week,
yes. We did have
a whole gamut, a
gamut,
plethora, many names.
Plethora of names.
Do any come to mind?
Yeah.
Most of them awful.
Yeah.
Most of any good one that you can share with us?
Music was my favourite.
What?
Music.
We were going to be called Music.
Just music.
That was my idea. With a Greek
not
mu first letter, but that was extremely pretentious.
And what? And then the K at the end.
Yeah, but someone's done it already.
So. Music with a K.
Yeah. No, with a mu, with a Greek letter. God. Wouldn't that be pretentious?
Yeah. And he also wanted to.
We've had lots of
terrible ideas. Terrible ideas.
I guess a bad topic. Yeah. Well, Radiohead is an interesting name as well, and it's.
It was actually just a pathetic attempt to get on radio. Really?
What's it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Tom Waits said that, there's a song on his Bone Machine album, I think, that talks about, In a Coliseum. Do you know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He says, well, exactly. He goes, I figure if I put Coliseum in a song, I'll end up playing in a Coliseum. Kind of like if you put radio in a song that gets played on the radio.
Yeah. Didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah. But, it worked for you guys.
Until today.
Yeah, sort of. Kind of, yeah.
I guess this next one is this Bulletproof?
Are
we going to do
the new one?
The new one?
Oh, should we do the new one first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We've never been played before.
Never been played before. And the working title is Subterranean Homesick Alien.
Now, you guys were still working this out as we did the sound check here, so...
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't expect too much.
So this is actually a premiere, then?
This
Yes.
is indulgent, sorry.
Okay. Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead live on KCRW.
Yeah, you got to start.
It's Radiohead. Thom Yorke on vocal and guitar work. Jonny Greenwood on guitar. It's the two of them acoustic here in the studios at KCRW. A song called Subterranean Homesick Alien, which is... that's the first time it's been heard, so there's your premiere.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, you guys, are you writing all the time? Is this something that's just brand new?
It's a bodily function for us.
Is it?
Just seeps out.
Yeah, this was part of the frustration from last year, was that we had tapes of all the new songs for ages and ages, but never had a chance to record them. We actually went for one stretch of touring for a year and a half without having one rehearsal, but just playing every night, which is really bizarre for us. Couldn't even get 10 minutes just for our own amusement. It was like always just for the shows.
We were a jukebox.
Yeah. A lot of bands speak to that sort of concern and that problem. James, the band James really had a problem with that. That's why they cranked out, 2-3 albums in the last...
Yeah, exactly.
Because they just want to get it out when they record it and not have to wait for the artwork and the
Well,
marketing.
Plus we had... When we were at school, we would never play a concert. We'd always just rehearse and write songs. We played 2 or 3 concerts a year, maybe.
Yeah.
But we never. So
always rubbish.
we just really had a big change of role. In the
But
past couple of years.
there is a danger to that, though. If you keep spewing stuff out, no one's doing a selection or anything. There's two sides to the argument.
Sure.
I'd hate to think that we got into a situation like Prince where we insisted on releasing 4 albums a year. Well, anyway, we wouldn't, would we? No. But anyway, I'm not saying that all the songs are brilliant by any means.
It's a balance, I guess.
Yeah.
You have to get it out there and you have to let people know and focus the world on a certain part of the album and that sort of thing. And then be on with it, yeah.
Exactly.
We should mention that you'll be joined by the rest of the band members
Exactly.
tonight
Everybody.
at Tower Sunset I get there by 11 o'clock because I think you guys are going on maybe about 11:30.
11, I think, yeah.
It's near 11, I don't know, I'm not sure. But there'll be lots of amplifiers there, so it'll be nice
Lots
and
of
loud.
amplifiers.
Yeah.
So if you can't get in, maybe just stand outside the door.
Or quiet.
Hopefully.
Okay. That's at Tower Sunset tonight. Thom Yorke, Jonny Greenwood, Ed O'Brien, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway, all of Radiohead in a full band performance. We're hearing an acoustic set this morning, and this is actually yet another song from the album.
Yeah.
Which
I think it's going to be Bulletproof, yeah? Okay, right.
Okay.
This is a song called Bulletproof ... I Wish I Was.
Radiohead, Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood in the studio. Bulletproof ... I wish I was. It's Thom Yorke on vocal and guitar work, and Jonny Greenwood guitar as well. The two from Radiohead. The album is called The Bends. It's in stores today, and we're hearing an acoustic performance here in the studio. That song you'll find on the new release, and in fact the entire band is doing an in-store performance tonight at Tower Sunset. Get there by 10:45, 11 o'clock, and you won't miss it. And this is an album that you've, by the way, dedicated to a guy called Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Who I don't know
Much about.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a comedian who died last year. I don't really know that much about him. I know that in Britain, a couple of days after he died, Channel 4, one of the TV stations in Britain, did a documentary on him, and it had a really big effect on me. I saw it. I think it was like in the middle of when we were doing the album, and he was a man that had just an incredible amount of energy and conviction and strong beliefs, and with all that actually managed to be incredibly funny as well. And
So where was he from? I mean,
I'm not sure whether it was Canada or America actually. I have to admit my ignorance. Really, it just the dedication was simply because of that energy and that conviction, and it was such a shame that he died because he had so much more to give, I think.
So it's essentially his conviction to creativity, the creative spirit.
Yeah, the guy. I think if people sort of saw saw some of it, they'd understand why I love him so much.
Well, it certainly makes me want to know more.
Yeah.
So I'll
Well,
try.
so yeah, that was kind of the point, I think.
I'll search it out. We're going to go out with a song that, from my understanding, is really speaking about the concerns you voiced earlier about the way everybody latched on Creep. I'm talking about My Iron Lung.
It was. I mean, hopefully, it wasn't just that. You know, the grey area that I was having at the time was the difficulty between writing a song about being a rock star, which has got to be the most boring subject in the world, and actually writing something that means something to everybody. You know.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to write in a sort of universal context.
Man. Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come down here this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Chris. It's been the most fun acoustic session we've done for ages.
Yes, it has.
Well, it gets you up early too. Now you can
Yeah,
enjoy the day.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead. The album is called The Bends. It's in stores today. They'll be in store tonight at Tower Sunset for a full band performance. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.